So as you guys know, I do OFM. Last month was an absolutely incredible month because on a single page, I was able to generate $100,000 pretty much exactly to the dot. And I'm gonna be covering that exact procedure that enabled me to generate those numbers to begin with. The question is why? Why would I expose the exact setup that I use to generate this money? Wouldn't that saturate the market? And recently, within the last 2 months or so, I came to this weird awakening of all sorts of different marketing channels that I could use / do that would generate me the same amount of money. And so saturating this one market doesn't affect me generally. Anyway, I'm also gonna be covering that tool as well. I'm covering every single tool that I've used. I'm covering one of my 4 operations that I use specifically for this page and for the month of January is the one I'm gonna be covering. Do I plan on continuing to run this? Yes, this isn't me just throwing it into the market, saturating it, and then leaving it out to be. We're gonna dig into the Airtable. We're gonna dig into the extensions. We're gonna dig into the actual procedure, how I organize the operation. We're gonna go into the flow. We're going to go into every single piece imaginable. All right, so first things first, I need to prove to you that the numbers that I did were legit. You can see the page and whatnot. So first things first, I'm gonna open up a tool that we use or that I use, and it is called Creator Hero. Creator Hero is just a sort of a CRM for OFM that allows you to see more metrics than the actual page will give you. It'll let you see, how much somebody has spent. It'll let you see when the chatters are online. Like there's a lot of data that it gives you. But the point is, this is how I'm gonna prove to you that the numbers are authentic. I can't possibly inspect Element even if I tried. Oh, what the fuck? Never mind. You can inspect Element. I didn't know you could do that on the CRM. Okay, but anyway, I'm gonna be spamming the refresh for you. So I'm hoping that holds enough weight. But anyway, so if I go into the overview, I can look at, Good Afternoon Hunter, $5,000 total turnover. This was yesterday. 212 new subs, 346 total purchases. You can see all of this data. Now, what I can do is I can filter for last month. Now, how I prove to you that this isn't in gross, I don't know because I've never actually looked. I can just tell you that it's in net, and I will actually open up the page so you can see. But this is how you're gonna get a detailed breakdown. So total revenue here was $100,028.73. A total of 7,000 new subscribers came into the page. New subs revenue was about $16,600. Reoccurring subs revenue was $4,600, $3,072 in tips were made, and $75,000 in message revenue. We had a texting ratio of 4.7. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to once again refresh again for you and immediately scroll down so you can see. I'll also let you I'll click last week just so you can see that numbers continuously hold consistent. Now I'm inside of the page here. The page here has a $25,000 pending, and once again, I'm gonna give it a refresh. $25,000 pending. The reason why I'm giving a refresh is because I found out you can inspect Element on this software for some reason. Last 30 days, you see it's $103,000, and if I open up the statement specifically, you can see that this page went from $20,000 immediately jumped to $100,000. And if I open it up, all of the data that we were just going through a minute ago holds consistent. So the page itself, the page has 6,000 paid fans currently. Everything that I've told you so far is holding consistent. So now that you hopefully believe that this actually happened, I'm gonna go into the actual process of what we did that made this happen. I'm gonna give a little bit of a summary on exactly what this operation is because it does have a name and it's wildly known. I have added my own little twists and features to it, which makes it as notable as it is. It's called Follow Unfollow. And I know for an absolute fact that every single one of you who has been in the game knows exactly what Follow Unfollow is. Follow Unfollow is simply following a user, an OF interested guy, waiting for him to follow you back, and then you unfollow him. And now you do this on a wide array of accounts. So if I have 1,000 accounts that are set up to look like a creator, let's say it's me for an example, I have 1,000 accounts that are set up like me. And I go through on all 1,000 of those accounts and I follow 20 people per day per account, which would be 20,000 That'd be a total of 400,000 follows. I'm following 400,000 people, and then when they follow me back, I unfollow them. The only reason to unfollow them is keep the account looking authentic. The more followers, and then the less following. And then the goal is obviously they click on the link in the bio or whatever it may be, and then they go over to the page. So, like I said, all we're doing is we're following a ton of people and hoping that they follow us back and clicking either a link in the bio or something along those lines that we're gonna get into. So first things first, we need to buy Instagram accounts. Let's say we buy 1,000 accounts. We're gonna make 900 of those accounts the slaves, and these are just gonna be the accounts that actually do the following. And then 100 of these accounts are actually going to go onto Cupid, which we're going to discuss what Cupid is momentarily. Now, where do you find Instagram accounts? Now, if you are within the space at all, I'm sure you know quite a few different providers. I can link you to a few specific suppliers that I've used, but regardless, another strategy that I use is I use Accounts Market here. If you go into Accounts Market, you can click on Instagram and then you can click on aged accounts here. Accounts Market or suppliers, and if you're having a hard time finding accounts, please just reach out to me on Telegram or just reach out into public Telegram groups. Be aware of scammers, only use a middleman, so on. All right, anyway, so now that you have these accounts, I typically just run a 10% ratio. So 900 of them become following accounts, 10% of them become, or 100 of them become Cupid accounts. Now, this doesn't necessarily need to hold consistent. Generally speaking, per 100,000 follows that I do, I will have 100 Cupid accounts open. So if I decide I'm going to do 1,000,000 follows per day, I need to have at least 1,000 Cupids open per day. And then you're going to know where Cupid comes into play here momentarily. So now that you have the accounts, what you're going to do is you're going to move into the account setup. You need to set these accounts up. And this is when we're going to dig into a much bigger piece of this operation, and this is called Airtable. So Airtable is effectively a advanced version of a Google spreadsheet. Now, Airtable has the ability to have organized grids, more unique and advanced formulas, different logic. Airtable all around is just insane. And I'm not gonna go into Airtable entirely because I would literally be sitting here talking for hours, but I'm gonna walk over my Airtable and talk about it. So first things first, like I said, we are talking about the accounts setup. We need to set up accounts. And when we look at this part of the Airtable specifically, I have a Airtable grid open here that is just called follow, unfollow account setup. And the way that this system is set up is it is sectioned off by all of these individual grids. So like I said, I have all of these unique views. Now, and each one of these views has a different set of instructions. So what I do when I buy these accounts and I need to immediately set them up is I take those accounts and I dump them into this little sheet here. So this is the old username. So the username that's already on the account once I bought it. This is the password, this is the email, and then this is the email password. And then the status of different statuses is the setup ongoing, is the setup in progress, has it been moved, is it suspended, is the password incorrect, so on. Now, where did I get the account? As you can see, I literally got these from Account Market. Date logged into Dolphin, and then username. This is the username that the VAs will change from this username to this username. They change the name of the accounts to make the account look more like a real human being and look like the actual model herself. So anyway, once they drop all of these accounts into this little section, what they can do is they can change the status. And what I'm going to do, and I'm specifically going to show you, there's 1,000 accounts in here now. I'm going to specifically show you, let's say I bought an account called Hunta Slaya. Password is hunta1, email is hunta1@gmail.com. Email password, and I'm going to say the provider is, and then here's some of the providers that I use if you're able to find them. Say I bought this from Rain, and boom. So now what I'm going to do is I'm now going to change the status to setup in progress. And what setup in progress is going to do is it's going to move the account over. Once they move the account into the day one to do by simply just changing the status, you can see that there are these fields within the Airtable that allow an account or a record to be shown based off specific parameters. So I'm going to be able to see the username, the password, the email password, the new username that they come up with. Let's say it's Hunter Bobby. Let's say that's the name of the model. They are using App Cloner to set up these accounts, which is just on an Android. I'm sure you guys know what App Cloner is. If not, there's a ton of tutorials out there. Now they mark the device that they're using to set it up, and they're going to mark this setup day. Now the setup day is really important because this is what's going to trigger the account to move through the entire pipeline. Now, each one of these account setup days has its own unique setup. And something I should probably mention is I couldn't possibly go through every single little detail without this video being 2 or 3 hours long. So I'm summarizing it as much as I can. If you have any questions, please, like I said, message me on Telegram. With that now triggered, each one of these days has their own setup day. So account setup day number 1 is simply changing the username, changing the profile picture. Day 2 is start uploading some posts. Day 3, upload some more posts. Day 4, so on and so forth, until the account is completely set up. This is highlights, this is profile pictures, this is username, bio, everything. They span it out throughout the days because typically I'm not able to get aged accounts, and so I use generally new auto regs or or just newly made auto regs or newly made aged accounts, but they're not that aged. I don't know. Anyway, so we span the setup across a few days so we don't flag anything, getting the Instagram account shut down. Anyway, now that this data set is put and they've gone and they've done day 1 task, all they do is they click complete. Now it's going to move down here into the pending, as you see. The reason why it's in the pending is because day since start is less than 2. Day 1 is complete and day 2 is not complete. Which means that when this is now 3 days old, say I move it to 1, this account, actually, when I move it to 31, is now going to move into 2 days old. And the reason why is because there's a formula, days since start, that is now 2 days old. So when the account is now 2 days old, it's now gonna go in here into the day 2 to do. These are the functions that are allowing the account to move through the entire pipeline. Now they're gonna go ahead and complete this task and mark it down. And then, just as expected, it's gonna end up in the pending. Anyway, the point of this, there's also a button if they need to open up the account. Yeah, it's opening up the new username right here. Anyway, that's the function that allows it to move through the pipeline. There's a monitoring section where these are accounts that have issues, incorrect passwords, posts have been removed, can't find account. Anyway, when they mark the status of the account, they all come down here so that they can immediately be fixed. This is a grid specifically that I send to one of the suppliers, Zeus Medias, and he has direct access to see all of the accounts that are triggered because provider is Zeus and the account has some kind of issue with it. It's going to show up here, he can see it, fix it, and then report back. These are accounts moved. Once the accounts are fully set up, all they do is they come down here as they come into the accounts complete, where every day is complete and day since started. Our day since start is equal to or greater than, I believe it's 7. Should be the number there. Once they take this, all they do is they copy and paste all the information and they move them over into the following accounts. Now these are accounts that are going to start following. But now that we have discussed the setup of mothers and slave accounts, we're now going to discuss the VPS setup. So now that you have all of these accounts set up and you have them moved over into wherever they need to be, whether that's funneling accounts or following accounts, this would be mother accounts, this would be slave accounts. Now that you have all of those accounts set up, you need to have VPSs. Now I use this website for VPSs called DynServer. On DynServer, you create an account and you can click on customer area. Now that you're on here, all you need to do is you need to click services, order new services, dedicated server, scroll down to the i7, which is right here. Click configure now and type in a root password, and then you're going to upgrade the RAM and change this system to Windows 2019. and then continue and buy it. They will get around to making the VPS and sending it to you in your email. Now, how do you connect to these VPSs? All you need to do is you need to download the Windows app. All you need to do is once you download the Windows app is you just simply need to click the plus button, add PC. You're gonna drop the IP address, which they're gonna send you within the email. You're gonna give it a name, a friendly name, whatever you want it to be. And then you're going to click add. It's then when you click on it, it's gonna ask for the password. The password is also gonna be sent to you in the email. Anyway, it's gonna save it into your system just like this, and then you can just double click and click continue and open it. And then you can get into the VPS. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna download this software called Anti-Dolphin. You're gonna download this onto the VPSs. Once you have this downloaded onto the VPSs, right here, Anti-Dolphin, you can then go into this bot, and it's called Cupid AI. This is the website, cupidbotofm.ai. What this is a bot that you download on an extension. Using an extension, you download it onto your browser profiles, and it allows you to plug it in. They have a full tutorial, a full guide on how to use it, and what it does is it actually chats to anybody who follows your account. It chats to them, convinces them that they're a real person, and then funnels them into your OFM page. Now, once you have Dolphin downloaded, I'm gonna show you exactly how to set up a profile. All they need to do is click create profile. You're gonna name the profile whatever you need it to be. I name them just based off the username, so Hunter Bobby. And then you're gonna add a proxy. In this instance, I'm not gonna use a proxy, but you need to use a proxy. I use BART proxies, which is just these right here. BARTproxies.com. I use the T-Mobile Legacy ISPs. I get 100 proxies, and then if you use code BART right here, obviously it's gonna give you $1 off, 50% off, which makes each proxy $1. Super cheap, and then I get the 3-month package. Now, once you've done that, you can change the status, whatever you need it to be, and then you're going to click create profile. You're going to open up this profile, and what you can do, which I've done, is if you go into the extensions, you can put the zip file for Cupid inside of the extension, so it adds it to all your browser profiles. Anyway, once you open it up, you go to Instagram.com. You log into the Instagram.com profile, and then Cupid AI will show up. All you do is set it up. They have 1.5 million guides. Like I said, I can't go through every little piece on this video. But anyway, they have a lot of guides. You set it up and it'll run on your account. That's how you do it, and then you can create hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different browser profiles. The reason for Dolphin Profile is it allows you to have a ton of different Chrome versions open that are all seen as unique. Otherwise, Instagram is going to start flagging you for using the same IP and the same fingerprint every time. So this is why you use Dolphin for every single unique account. Awesome. So now that you have the VPS set up and the mother account set up, you can now on your VPS open up 30 Dolphin accounts or 30 Dolphin profiles on each VPS. Otherwise, the VPS started getting overloaded. Next thing, now you need to scrape targets. So scraping targets is not something I can literally cover in this video because it will absolutely take way too long. Scraping targets can be done in a various amount of ways. You can use make.com, you can use Rocket API, you can use Rapid API, you can use Supabase, you can have ChatGPT create you your own little scraper, or you can have it manually done by VAs. All you need to do is decide on the demographic of people that you want to follow and target. And generally speaking, you want to follow within a specific niche of the way that your accounts are actually set up. So for an example, if I'm gonna be doing follow and follow, I'm going to have my accounts set up to look similar to the demographic of people that I'm following. So for an example, if I'm gonna be following people that go to UCLA, I need my Instagram accounts to match because my Instagram accounts are going to be set up to look like the actual model or creator. So for an example, within my bio, I'm going to have UCLA, just graduating in 2024, or whatever the day is, making the account look like I go to UCLA. The reason for that is because when I follow them, they need to see my account and see, okay, he or she goes to UCLA, I can trust them, I can follow them back. Obviously, you want to follow men. You can build out a lot of different scrapers. Like I said, I have a custom scraper that we built within our team. I can't possibly go through it right now because it's a massive and this video is already getting long, but you can simply just go into, or have your VAs do this, go to Instagram.com and then go to UCLA. You can open this up. Just go through all of their followers that are male based. Then using your accounts, you're gonna simply follow them. If you decide that you're gonna do gamers, make sure that your slave accounts, your follow accounts are set up to look like gamer girls. Does that make sense? Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start following your targets. Now, there's a few ways that you can do this. You can either use Anti-Dolphin like we had discussed later and install these on your VA's machines. Once these are on your VA's machines, your virtual assistants machines, you can now start following on those browser profiles 5 to 50 accounts per day. And I'm gonna kind of go through, how we do that. So like I said, back into Airtable, we have this setup that allows you to plug in. Once the accounts are set up, they drag and drop them or they copy and paste them over here. Now, once they're in here, you have their username and their password, and then you're gonna add their login date, and then all of this data is automatically scraped for you. Well, it should be if you use make.com. You can manually populate this if you want, but we have all of this automatically done. As you can see in here, all of these accounts automatically have all of the data scraped and then adds it to the Airtable for us. When we look at the ClickUp, we have the followed targets set up. So when we look at this Airtable here, very similar system, in which once this account is been initiated, we look at the week 1 following. So when the day is greater than 1 and less than 7, an account is not banned, the account is going to be in here. So if I put this into 1, well, it actually needs to be greater than 1. So let's do the 31st. You can see that the account is now here. Now I'm gonna mark the account status as healthy. Now I go through, and on week 1 of this account doing the following, all they need to do is they need to follow 5 to 10 different users from UCLA, for an example. And then once they've done that, they check that off. Awesome. Now, as the account progresses and gets older, it's going to continue to go down through this pipeline. And here's like the formula that I have. And then this specifically needs to have, and following, week 1 following is not checked. And then this one needs to have week 1 following is checked. So then once they actually do the following, the account will move down here, and then it'll be the same for this one. So week 2 following is not checked, and week 3 following is checked. So now once the account is older, and I'll uncheck this, so the account is here, they did their 5 to 10 following. Now what they can do is they can check that, and it's gonna move it down here just to sit there. And then once they're done following all of the accounts that they need to follow, all they need to do is they need to come in here and then unselect all of these. What that's gonna do is it's then gonna push it back up to the top, okay? And now they can start going through them again for the next day and the next day and the next day. Now, once the account is old enough, as in it is now older than 7 days but less than 14, it's now going to come here, which means now you can do 10 to 20 follows, 20 to 30, so on and so forth. And then these are all of your accounts that have been banned in a graveyard. So the reason for this is because as an account gets older, you can do more follows on it without risking suspension. Now, how do you actually funnel them? So you have 2 different accounts. You have account 1, or you have 100 accounts that are designated to simply just following. You then have 10% of those accounts, which would be 10 accounts that are running Cupid. The 100 accounts need to have a bio that says something along the niche of that you're following. So this would be UCLA with a bear, 2025, whenever the graduation date would be, and then my main account with a pointing finger, and then tagging to a Cupid account. Let me write this in my notes really quick so that you understand. Here's an exact example. So this is going to be an account that is going to be a following account / slave. Now, this account here is going to be a account running with Cupid on it. The following account / the slave, this is an account that you're going to be going around and you're going to be following people on. Now, when they follow you back, they're going to see that you also have a main account. So they're going to be pleased with what they see on this account and want to find your main account. So then they're going to click on your main account and they're going to follow this account. This account is running on a VPS with the Cupid AI extension on it and is now going to start chatting to them and push them to the OF account. Now, where this gets interesting is when you start to follow a big demographic on each account within your niche, because then now you have mutual friends. So if I am on my Instagram and I see this cute girl just followed me and I click on her account and I also go to UCLA and I see that, oh, all my other friends follow this account too, I'm more inclined to believe that this is a authentic account. So the more people that I accumulate onto this account, the higher my follow back rate will be. The higher my follow back rate will be, the more trust in the account we'll have, and the more people are going to go into my OF. So now, one more thing I want to go over within my Airtable is here are my accounts that I have set up for actually funneling on Cupid. So this is the Airtable that I have. You have all of the accounts here within this one that doesn't have any filters. Now you have a new account inventory. So when an account is dropped into here and they're getting ready to be used, they all populate into this area. Now, when they are ready to funnel, it's when account status is inventory. So when this account status goes from nothing to inventory, it's going to simply move it, because when it's none of these, is going to immediately get pushed into the available to funnel. Now, these accounts are the accounts that are loaded up on Cupid and that are actively funneling. So I can also link them to a proxy here, and this proxy is allow linking to multiple records, limit record selection to a view available by proxy. The reason being is because over here I have provider is any of, and number of IGs contains, add more Instagram accounts. So when these accounts have more than 3, this is now going to change from add more to no accounts needed, pushing it down into this tab, no accounts needed, which is then no longer going to allow them to select the proxy over here. So they can just keep selecting a proxy and it's always going to give them a new one. You can now assign these accounts to a VPS, and it's going to work in the same way. When it has 30 accounts on it, it's no longer going to allow them to select it. Now I can go into a massive full YouTube video just going over my entire Airtable because it's absolutely massive. We have different interfaces with the amount of accounts that are dropped in, with the amount of accounts that are actively funneling, available to funnel, all sorts of things. But I hope that this video, at least in one way or another, because it's a 45-minute video, gives you as much information as you possibly need to start the operation. All the other resources that you need would just simply be VAs. And outside of that, I hope this helped. I'm sure I missed a couple things on complete accident because this is, this is a pretty big operation, but I hope you get a good understanding for how we use it. Cupid AI's conversion ratio is 7%, meaning if you get 100 people to follow one of your accounts, you've now converted 7 subscribers. 7 subscribers times $15. 7 times 15 is $105 that you made from simply just converting 7 people over. Now, the more people that you follow, the more people that are going to go into the Cupid account. The more people that go into the Cupid account are going to linger into the OF, because 7% of the people that follow the Cupid account are going to get converted into OF subscribers. So if you have any other questions, please message me on Telegram. I know that this was a really big operation and I was within the time constraints of being able to go over every single piece of it, but I hope I did as good of a job as I can. And if you have any other questions, like I said, Telegram, but bye.